And happening on Fox. No return, back at the end zone. Out to the 25-yard line. Kerwin Williams straight ahead. Second and 8. Carson Palmer will go down. Sacked inside the 20 by John Simon. Palmer behind Jerron Brown, and it'll be fourth down. Back to punt. Quan Bray standing at the 30 of the Colts. Takes it in and has room to run. Bray up across the 45 to set up the Colts. Drafted by the Patriots, had a couple of starts there. On the spot here, he keeps. And gets to the 46.5-yard line of Arizona. Out of state. Fakes a throw, under pressure, gets rid of it. Knocked down right away. Ames on 3rd and 4. Robert Turbin the back for Jacoby Brissett. Throws, completes for the first down inside the 40. Jack Doyle.
White 20. What's that?
Frank Gore has it with nowhere to go. Smothered at the 40-yard line.
Frank Gore, you want to keep Jacoby Brissett comfortable.
On 2nd and 12 from the pocket. He gets away, floats one out of bounds. Did a good job to avoid a sack from Marcus Golden. To Brissett. Did not get the start today. Turbin in at running back. Brissett underneath. He's got to catch it a first down inside the 25. Lamar Aiken. Why Hilton.
20. What's that?
Frank Gore straight ahead. And picks up a healthy gain on first down. Give Mater 8.5 yards.
White 20. What's that?
Colts need 2 for a first down. And Frank Gore falls a yard short. At the 20, at the 16-yard line, where it'll be third down with Jacoby Brissett. Robert Turbin, first down Colts, driving Cardinals back to the 11-yard line.
Wide open at the top, you got no coverage on the top left.
Frank Gore goes into a crowd, he gets inside the 10. Jacoby Brissett gets away. And out of bounds. Turbin drops to the bottom of your screen as a receiver on third down. Brissett behind and knocked away. Try to get to Hilton. 29-yard field goal try. He missed 2 of 3 kicks in the season opener.
Leverage, unsportsmanlike, number 95 of the defense. Half the distance to the goal, automatic. First down.
Right there in the center. Off to the right side of your screen. You can see the left hand on the back of the player that's down. Boy, that's real touchy for leverage. Usually you're up on top of that body.
White 20. What's that?
Brissett has it after the fake. For the end zone and out of bounds. Trying to get a Moncrief.
White 20. What's that?
Frank Gore straight ahead. Touchdown Colts. They have the lead.
Collapses this down. You're going to see here everybody kind of collapsing it down inside. Jack Doyle sells the pass route.
Adam Vinatieri, who made good on a field goal, but a penalty. Thus the lead and kicking off. Kerwin Williams from the 4-yard line of Arizona. And special teams play excellent for the Colts. Stopped short of the 18-yard line. Kerwin Williams gets up to the 22-yard line. Williams actually drafted by the Colts in the Johnson. Second down 6. Kerwin Williams again. And it'll be third and long. Incomplete for Jerron Brown, and the coverage was good. Andy Lee. Quan Bray on a healthy return last time. from the 35. Gets up across the 40 and knocked back. NFL
By 20.
start.
Right.
Set to throw. Doyle has it at the 45 of Arizona. Had a calmness about him for a young player. He's shown that so far as Frank Gore gets to the 40. Hicking down 5.
That's right.
Mack might lose a yard.
Bray giving him great field position after punts.
3rd down and 7. He has time underneath to Frank Gore, who gets the first down. Make that Robert Turbin inside the 35-yard line.
By 20.
To the Cardinal defense. Mack carries. Well, defensive coordinator James Betcher told us that he went back and looked at every snap.
Finding out what he did well, what he was comfortable with.
Marlon Mack knocked down, a loss for the Colts. Xavier Williams
For that field goal.
Robert Turbin back in. Middle of the field, wide open is Doyle. But not enough for the first down, but just what you said, Darrell, enough to set up Vinatieri with a reasonable field goal try. For the penalty, took it off the board, then they were able to get a touchdown. This one is up there and out there, and it's good there. Can return to health. More on that throughout the broadcast, but so far so good for the Colts in game 2. Williams will down it. Back out at the 25-yard line. Extra lineman Will Olden is in, a backup tackle. Palmer to throw on first down. He has time and open. Fani Moma, the tight end out of the 30 of the Colts. And Palmer made that one look easy. He had hurt his ribs when he was thrown to the turf in Detroit last week. Kerwin Williams straight ahead. Fights hard to get to the 24-yard line. The quarter is beginning to close out. Palmer, middle of the field. Troy Nicholas has a first down inside the 7-yard line. In Indianapolis. Nice to have you watching the NFL on Fox as Kerwin Williams tackled right away and thrown down back at the 10-yard line. All 3 receivers to the left of Palmer. Here's a flag down, and he gets rid of it, and Andre Ellington goes down.
Illegal motion, number 38 offense. That player was going forward at the snap. That penalty's declined. 3rd down.
Carson Palmer has a moment for the end zone. Catch made, but not in the end zone. J.J. Nelson pushed forward from the 1 or 2-yard line. We'll check the spot. 4th down. Palmer for the end zone for Larry Fitzgerald, and it's incomplete.
By 20. That's right.
Robert Turbin on first down, trying to get Brissett a little bit more running.
When Larry Fitzgerald can't execute it, it's just tough play.
Jacoby Brissett from his own end zone, airing it out deep. And the coverage running right with him was Justin Bethel on Dante Moncrief. Up at the top of your screen. Brissett from his own end zone completes the pass. Falling forward, T.Y. Hilton, and now the spot is big here because remember the yellow line superimposed as kind of a guideline there, but this, the old change system, that's how short they are. On 4th down.
Indianapolis is challenging the ruling on the field that the runner is short of the line to gain. We'll review the play.
And the question is, when does he get touched on the ground?
Right there. He's well short.
It's still short. Now the ball goes forward right there. But the contact was already made when it was short.
Review. It is confirmed the runner was touched. The ball was short of the line to gain. It is 4th down. Indianapolis will be charged with a timeout.
Colts. Sanchez will kick it out to Kerwin Williams. There's a flag down, and he's at the 41, and another flag flies in as he's knocked back at the 48 of Arizona.
There are 2 fouls by the receiving team on the play. During the return, holding number 26. That penalty is declined. During the kick, holding number 59. That penalty is accepted. 10 yards, timeout. On the penalty enforcement, the holding on number 59 was on the offense. The holding on number 26 was on the return team. Those fouls offset. We'll replay 4th down.
Carl Jeffers clarifying the mistake, so a penalty on each team. Sanchez catch called for at the 37 of Arizona. Is having to make adjustments without John Brown and David Johnson. Palmer comes out firing. Deep for Jerron Brown, and it's knocked away. He had it in his hands, but the Colts, there were a couple of them there. Chris Johnson is in at running back, and he has it with a big hole straight up the middle. There's a flag down as he goes down at the 41-yard line.
Holding number 87 offense. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
17 from the 30 of Arizona. Palmer for Chad Williams, the rookie. And he makes the catch just short of the first down. 3rd and 2. Palmer pass to Larry Fitzgerald, his first catch of the game, and he gets a first down. A sluggish start in that opening quarter. Chris Johnson has it, and again surging to the 41. There was an opening there. Chris Johnson, and he will turn the corner, get the first down. Down to the 31-yard line, and by Christmas he hopes. Carson Palmer, incomplete for Ellington. Best chance the Cardinals have. Palmer wide open, and he had to leap forward on an awkward throw. J.J. Nelson knocked out of bounds. A quick snap.
We'll keep everybody in suspense as we get back to action.
I think there was a reason the Cardinals ran to the line and snapped that. For his tight end through the hands of a fine Oma. Pressure is picked up. Palmer's throw. The catch made. Good hands. Jerron Brown making the grab on the sideline. Kerwin Williams has it. Knocked down inside the 5. In the slot to the left of Carson Palmer. The Colts, there was some movement there.
False start. Number 70 offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
And that's Ellington in motion. Palmer for the end zone, really high. J.J. Nelson back of the end zone. Touchdown! He made the catch, but did he stay in bounds? The official waited.
It's inside. This will give us a good look right here. That looks to be in. That is out. Play.
After review, the receiver's second foot hit the end line. It is an incomplete pass. It'll be third down.
Carson Palmer hesitates, throws for the end zone, and incomplete. See the hat thrown down because the receiver had gone out of bounds and then come back in. Phil Dawson with the field goal from 27 yards away. They're high school in West Palm Beach, Florida. Back to return if he gets the opportunity. And there is Bray coming out of the end zone. And knocked down. Ball comes out at the 20. Looks like the Colts got it back as Bray went to the turf. Super Bowl champ with the Cowboys will be joining the group. Have fun. Brissett to throw. Fakes and thrown down. Josh Morrow with a Cardinals sack.
White 20.
On the very first snap. Cardinals look like they jumped. Let's see if he was drawn offside.
Encroachment. Number 90 defense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
White 20.
Frank Gore, who has a touchdown run in this game, carries. It'll be third down. Need to get up to the 30 for a first down. Sharp on third down conversions. 4 out of 7 today. The pressure is picked up. And he fires off the hands. Peterson was covering Kamar Aiken. Roberto Sanchez signed as an undrafted free agent from Hawaii. Played as a flag is dropped. Played at Butte College before JC transfer. That was the college Aaron Rodgers.
Zone infraction. Number 57 defense. 5-yard penalty. Remains fourth down.
Booming kick that has Kerwin Williams watching it bounce on the sideline. See the exact spot. Kerwin Williams gets up across the 31-32-yard line. Palmer gets rid of it. Looked like the receiver had slipped there. Palmer wide open is J.J. Nelson, who puts a move on, but coming back to tackle him at the 48.5-yard line. The lead receiver on the left of Carson Palmer. Top of your screen. Pressure coming, and he goes down. Carson Palmer sacked in the arms of Al Woods. Loss of 7 on that sack. Pressure again on Palmer. Open sideline catch made. Jaron Brown for a first down. Tough hits at the 27-yard line by Larry Fitzgerald, who he plays as they hurry up with one timeout. For the end zone, intercepted, floated by Palmer, and Malik Hooker has it for the Colts. Moving them to field goal range. Brissett knocked down at the 38 by Chandler Jones. About on second down, Brissett has plenty of time, and through the hands of Dante Moncrief. Blitz coming. Pass is caught by Doyle, and he gets the first down. Jack Doyle gets across the 45. Saw the range for Adam Vinatieri to try to get in that field goal spot. He slips away from the rush. Brissett runs into a defensive player, Tyrann Mathieu, at the 43, and it's enough for a first down.
Able to sneak up through the middle for a nice gain.
Picked up 11. Dumps it off to Robert Turbin, who goes out of bounds. There's a flag down before the half.
Number 74 offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Hurry, to go!
30 seconds and one timeout. Delayed blitz batted away.
20.
Brissett has time and is brought down by Chandler Jones. Acquired a couple of weeks ago. And the Colts are leading by 7. And back to the end zone. Come out to the 25-yard line. To tight end Jack Doyle. He's 4 of 4 on that connection. First down, rolling out. Brissett. That's the backup tight end, Brandon Williams, who just won't go down.
One thing that's continually happening, but a lot of little mistakes.
Frank Gore, who has the only touchdown in this game. Not until he's 100% will he be brought back. Brissett from the pocket. And incomplete. Looks like he had T.Y. Hilton open. 9 today. Blitz coming. Brissett throwing and knocked away. It was a low throw, but Mathieu was there. It'll be fourth down. Roberto Sanchez to punt, standing inside his own 40. And Kerwin Williams will watch this fall short and bounce out of bounds. Spot will be inside the 20-yard line. Tony Gonzalez in for him in our NFL on Fox Studios. Chris Johnson gets to the 15-yard line. Extra lineman Will Holden coming in, and that's what they do here. Quick pass to Fitzgerald, who gets one block, but a good tackle as he stretches across the 20. Carson Palmer with a pass, tipped away. Was trying to go to Andre Ellington. It was Farley again. Quan Bray back inside his 30. Andy Lee backs him up inside the 25. No fair catch, and he's brought down right away. Excellent special teams play by Buda Baker.
White 20. What's right?
First down from the 25. Frank Gore with a first down, barreling up across the 37-yard line. Sharp.
White 20.
Pickup of 13. Ball was snapped awkwardly. There's a flag down. He fumbled it. Looked like Jacoby Brissett recovered his own fumble.
There's no foul on the play. The center snapped the ball early. Please set the leg clock to 40 seconds. We'll wind on my signal.
My quarterback's hands aren't under center.
Brissett, pressure coming, pass delivered. Right at the first down marker, Jack Doyle, in fact, their most reliable receiver. They need a yard on third down. Brissett surging forward, but he did not get across the first down marker.
That was not a good execution of the quarterback's sneak. You've got a quarterback with 6 practices under his belt in your system, and it's a moot point. But yeah,
Arizona is challenging the ruling on the field that the runner gained a first down. We'll review the play.
Starting it at the other end, and usually you go back from the initial mark of the first down.
Yeah, he's got to be beyond the 48.
And it's not even in the ballpark. But it's where the officials spot it and how they rule it.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Arizona will be charged with their first timeout.
And a 7-point lead. Frank Gore knocked down at the 46 of Arizona.
And make a play.
Brissett has it. Ankle tackle, gets inside the 45. Josh Bynes makes the play with Jacoby Brissett making his first start for them. He's going to throw on 3rd and 2. It's batted in the air and incomplete. Moncrief the target. Trying to play the field position game. Just outside the 11-yard line. 13 with Chris Johnson, the running back, on first down. And it will be Chris Johnson. Well, you heard at halftime how frustrated Arians was.
Too much in the game plan.
Overcoaching.
Yeah, I like too many plays coming out of preseason. And maybe he's got another big game plan here. I mean, everybody talks about the volume.
Colts are blitzing. Pass is caught for a first down. Andre Ellington gets up to the 40-yard line. In Gresham, it certainly affects the effectiveness of some of the plays, and he's in trouble again, and he slows down again. Sacked at the 35-yard, at the 35. On second down, the quick throw, and nothing was there from the start. Larry Fitzgerald could barely get to the football with Melvin right with him. Palmer's throw. It was in the hands of Jerron Brown, but knocked out by Rashaan Melvin from the Houston Texans. Lead to punt again. Quan Bray, there's a flag down right away. Bray has it at the 22. And knocked down from the 29-yard line out of bounds. We'll check the flag.
During the kick, holding receiving team number 28. 10-yard penalty. First down, timeout.
White 20. Cut.
After the penalty, Brissett to throw. Again, his tight end. That's as automatic as they can be today for suffering an interception in the first half, hurting the Cardinals' chances of scoring. Brissett's pass low, but the catch made at the 20 by Aiken
White 20.
when he was coach of the year in 2012. And a first down run from Robert Turbin. Across the 25-yard line. Marlon Mack is in and running back. He gets the football and brought down short of the 30 by Marcus Golden.
White 20.
Second and 8. The set. Catch. T.Y. Hilton. Up across the 43-yard line. Another Colt first down. Comfortable
White 20.
in calling the plays and delivering. Marlon Mack. Brought down just across the 45-yard line.
In Indianapolis is this, and then he can get it so he doesn't get stuck at the line.
Brissett to throw. Pass completed for a first down inside the 40. Moncrief. And picks up 15.
Here we go.
And this will work.
False start, number 67, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
There.
White 20.
Overcoming a penalty now on 1st and 15. A quick throw and open short is Marlon Mack, who gets some of that back. And a healthy gain.
This whole time they've been out here.
Cut.
They pick up 11 after the penalty on 2nd and 4. Mack dancing around, but will be stopped outside the 35-yard line. Out of 5 so far for the Colts on this drive. And he hits another one. Kamar Aiken in field goal range now. Game's only touchdown is in at running back Brissett. He takes the direct snap, and Gore runs straight ahead. Brissett was splitting out as a receiver. That's Jack Doyle maneuvering around. Brissett to throw. And that's Jack Doyle on the catch. Comes a flag.
Red zone penalties.
False start, number 75 offense. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
White 20. What's right?
Gore gets it. And they do swarm the veteran led by Chandler Jones back to the line of scrimmage.
White 20. Right.
Brissett sets to throw. Middle of the field off the hands of Gore.
White 20.
Spotted at the 11. Brissett maneuvering, throwing it out of the end zone. Luke Rhodes, the snapper. And clutch as he always is.
Zone a little bit, which is to be expected.
And hasn't turned it over. Williams on the run from the 4-yard line. And gets up just short. Here comes a flag as he is knocked down at the 24.
During the return, holding receiving team number 50. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Up quarterback to Carson Palmer. Andre Ellington. It's up across the 21-yard line. It's time to bail his team out. Chris Johnson carries. I mean, this is very unlike the Bruce Arians play caller. Ball's fumbled. Palmer runs forward and gets the first down. There's a veteran move. Palmer from the 28. And he's going to be sacked. The minute he got back there, so was Hassan Ridgeway. 4th time he's been sacked. He fakes one way, he's in trouble. And that'll go nowhere. Ellington knocked down by Jabal Sheard. Palmer's throw, the catch made for a first down by Jerron Brown, and there's a flag down where Palmer went down.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 93, defense. 15 yards will be added to the end of the play. Automatic, first down.
On the catch, you put 15 more. And from the 45, Palmer throwing deep. J.J. Nelson, does he hang on to it? Yes, touchdown Cardinals. Touchdown toss. Carson Palmer, J.J. Nelson between a couple of Colts. After a debatable hit on the quarterback call. The extra point is good. Turbin and Bray back for the Colts. It'll be Quan Bray from his own end zone. Straight ahead. Stopped at the 23. And challenges that were shot down. Looked like a Cardinal defender move, but the call is going to be on.
Ball start, number 73, offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
White 20. What's right?
Brissett. Frank Gore knocked down right away. Excellent play by Chandler Jones and Kurt Brown, who is at the bottom of your screen as a receiver. Pass is caught by Hilton, who slips a tackle and gets up to the 29-yard line. 3rd down and 6. Extra pressure coming. He has a moment. The catch made, but the tackle made to keep the first down in check. Just over 5.5 minutes in this final quarter remain. Fair catch called for. Kerwin Williams is hit anyway, even though he clearly called for the fair catch.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 42, kicking team. 15 yards will be added to the spot of the catch. First down, timeout.
Right here, you just hit a big one over the top. I'd go again.
Chris Johnson the handoff instead, and just gets across the 40-yard line.
Ready to pop for the Cardinals.
Second down 7. Looked like a Colt jump. A free play for Carson Palmer. He's got an open receiver, and once again, it's J.J. Nelson. Touchdown
Offside.
grab.
Number 93 defense. That penalty's declined. Results of the play. First down.
And gain of 31 yards at the 28 of Indianapolis. Chris Johnson straight ahead. Got a whole lot in what looked like was a wall there. Blitz coming. Chris Johnson. An effective blitz on the running play. Jeremiah George. Running backs, Penny and Ellington. Time for Palmer. In the air and incomplete. Ellington had a chance on the deflection, and 82 for the tie. The kick, and the veteran delivers. Return, and it's 13 apiece. Deep in the end zone, he downs it. Marlon Mack, the running back, and they don't hesitate to throw. And the catch made across the 40, T.Y. Hilton.
He got vertical, and then he broke to get the separation.
Pickup of 16, back to Frank Gore. Just kind of knife his way through to get up to the 43. Boy, when the Colts said that Jacoby Brissett have all 3 of their timeouts. Second down 8, Brissett on the run. And he just gets rid of it. Blitz coming, Brissett has to get rid of it. The pressure, Kerwin Williams back to take the punt, standing inside the 10 of Arizona. And at the 15, he hauls it in. The 2-minute warning. Middle of the field, wide open is Britton Golden, and he can fly. Britton Golden out of bounds across the 45-yard line. Good yards passing today after a rough start against a tough Colt defense today. Palmer has time in the pocket in the area of Fitzgerald, but there was nothing developing. 13-3. Palmer has battled his team back for Brown on the sideline, and it was never really happening because of the coverage over there by Rashaan Melvin. Palmer, middle of the field behind Britton Golden.
To run after the catch for the first down.
Andy Lee with pressure does get the punt away. Quan Bray watches it bounce and roll inside the 15, where the Cardinals are there to down it. And in the backfield for Brissett. He comes out throwing. Catch made. The leading receiver in the game, Jack Doyle at the 20. His 8th catch of the game.
Kid growing up on the playgrounds through high school, college.
They're not hesitating. The ball's out. That is a fumble football. Ruling, looks like Chandler Jones forced the fumble, and the Colts were able to get it back. Quarterback facing a 3rd and 10. From the pocket, a low throw and incomplete for Kamar Aiken. It is 4th down. There's a flag down.
Holding. Number 74 offense. That penalty's declined. 4th down.
His own end zone. 34 seconds remain. Kerwin Williams back. 1 timeout. And it's a bad kick that bounces to Williams. And he gets up the sideline and goes out of bounds with 25 seconds remaining. Palmer from midfield. Completes. That's Jerron Brown. Dancing around the sideline and goes out of bounds with 17 seconds remaining. Failed to gain anything or lose any ground, and Palmer's just going to surge forward.
Fuels this storied rivalry. College football, Saturday, starting at 4 Eastern on Fox.
12 players in formation on the defense. Also, that player was offside. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Well, they have really
Cardinal offense. For a mistake like that this late, Cardinals are going to play for the field goal. Season. And the Colts call a timeout The old ice the kicker bit on that leg. It is off the mark. Overtime in Indianapolis.
Coin that we'll be using for the toss. This is heads. This is heads. This is tails. Arizona gets the call. They have called heads. It is tails. Indianapolis wins the toss. We'll take the ball.
Missed the 42-yarder on the kickoff. In the end zone, he's bringing it out. After a hesitation, he gets past one defender, and gets up to the 27-yard line.
White 20.
Frank Gore, the running back. We're set to throw. Middle of the field, and it's intercepted. Tyrann Mathieu to the 22, and the Cardinals.
Watch him read as everything develops and then just break on it. He undercuts Kamar Aiken, and just a bad decision.
One of Indianapolis. Chris Johnson has the football, and maybe to the 20. Rear game-winning field goals. Kerwin Williams carries. Versus 40% of your one-and-one. Straight ahead, Andre Ellington, short of the first down, but in chip shot range for a field goal. Those last year. But in 2017, with a second try, Phil Dawson delivers for the Cardinals, who win in overtime in Indianapolis. The Colts will slip to 0-2. It's good to have a second chance.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he's brought here for. You mentioned how much of a struggle that was for him last season.
The Cardinal defense set it up after they rallied to tie and win in overtime.